polite. She's never loud and doesn't fight. She speaks so soft that you can barely hear her. Her chastity's intact and pure. But all these titles drive her mad.
Hey sweeties, and welcome back to Queer Cosplayers Family Kitchen for our wrap-up of Critical Hit Month. I am so sorry it has been so difficult getting this final video made. I know I promised to have it done and uploaded by now, but unfortunately there were some personal things that kind of delayed it. But we are here and we are going to wrap up Critical Hit Month by making a recipe that I am actually very intrigued to try to attempt, and also very intrigued for how it's going to taste. We are going to make some Seelie Court cheese and potato soup. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, sweeties, so to start off, I got a good sized pot and put 3 tablespoons of butter in here. Now you're going to want to use it to kind of coat the bottom there. Then we are going to add in 1 yellow onion chopped. Then also 1 rib of celery, also chopped. Add that in there. Then we are going to add 2 bay leaves. 1. I can get that other one out of there. There we go. And 2. Then last but not least, we are going to add a teaspoon of salt. Then we are going to keep stirring these vegetables for about 3 minutes. So there's 1 and 2. Alright, so once again, we're going to get a spoon and start stirring for about 3 minutes. Alright, sweeties, it's been about 3 minutes and they are pretty well cooked through. What we're going to do now is adjust this to a medium-low, and then we want to cook these until they've released all of their juices. So that's going to take about another 4 minutes. Alright, sweeties, that is looking nice and fragrant. So now what we're going to be doing is adding about 1.5 tablespoons of pressed garlic. So I've got a garlic crusher here. So I'm estimating this to be about 5 or 6 cloves worth of garlic here. But I am a firm believer that you can never use too much garlic. Then, unfortunately, there is another ingredient to this that I didn't realize that I don't have. And in order to make this dish properly, you're also going to need 2 teaspoons of thyme. Yeah, unfortunately, I went through my spices and I could have sworn I had some, but I guess not. So then, once again, once this is in, we are going to stir it up again for about another 40 seconds. Last one. Alright. And there we go. Alright, sweeties, that is some wonderful aroma there. So now we are going to be adding in 2 of our most important ingredients, our chicken broth and our potatoes. So for the chicken broth, we are going to be adding in 6 cups. So this is a very big measure. Alright, there's 3 cups. Oh, looks like I might have just been able to pour this whole container in. Alright then, yep. Just ended up taking the whole container. So we are going to pour that in, as well as 1.5 pounds of potatoes. Like so. Chop those up real nice. Then we are going to bring the temperature back up to about a medium high and try to get everything to a boil. All right, folks, as you can see, we have a nice boil. So this is a simple step. We are just going to reduce our heat down to a nice simmer, and then we're going to want to leave this cover on and make sure it simmers for about a good 25 minutes or until the potatoes are fork tender. Sweeties, so this has been on for about 25 minutes and the potatoes are indeed fork tender. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is remove the bay leaves, like so, and then we are going to want to add in our Boursin cheese, which is kind of like a fine garlic type cheese. Put that in the soup, right there, like so. Alright, so again, we're going to give it a few stirs here to nicely incorporate it. Then we are going to cover the soup and then leave the cheese to melt for about another 2 minutes. Alright, sweeties, as you can see, it is nice and melted, the cheese is. So our next step, there's actually a couple of strategies you could use for this. The first one it recommends to blend all of the ingredients together is to use an immersion blender. Now, I usually do have one of those, but for some reason I cannot seem to find my motor for it. But the recipe does say in a pinch you can use a regular countertop blender, like so. So we are going to pour this in. There we go. Put on the lid. And then we are going to... There we go. Just kind of pulse this a few times. All right, sweeties. So now it is time to add our final ingredients. Just a little heads up, I'm going to need to bring this back to temperature because I had to take a quick break from this video because a good friend of mine and I went to go see The Odyssey, and sweeties, that movie was near perfect. I say very near perfect. I only had 2 minor complaints with it, but as someone who absolutely loves mythology and loves teaching it, this was pretty damn close to a perfect movie. So, moving on, as it's getting up to temperature, we are going to add 3/4 of a cup of half and half, like so. Then we are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, like so. There we go. Now we are just going to give this a bit of a stir to combine it while it is going back up to temperature. Oh, sweeties, this smells delicious. So there's one last thing you're gonna do before you will typically serve it, is you can garnish your soup with some nice chives, or if you have any additional or extra cheese. That's always a very good garnish. But now Oh, sweeties, that is so good. So, thank you so much for tuning in for Critical Hit Month. It has been such a joy getting to explore the flavors of the multiverse with all of you, and I am so honored to be working with Fey as our new music provider. I'm looking forward to this being a very long and very prosperous partnership. Thank you so much for your music and letting us use it on our videos. I cannot wait until next month where we get to debut our next theme. So until then, bye, sweeties. Mwah.
A maiden's never rude and always kind and nice and polite. She's never loud and doesn't fight. She speaks so soft that you can barely hear her. Her chastity is intact and pure. But all these titles drive her mad. She has so much to say. She wants it all so bad. She wants to run away. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want? What do you need? Let's be wild. Let's be free. Let's be feral creatures unique. I am feral. Let's be feral. I am feral. Let's be feral. She rips her dress off and sets it on fire. She screams as loud as she desires. She goes running barefoot naked in the woods, not even caring if she should. She is wild and vicious, naturally capricious, sexually